Hello and welcome back to another episode of Sports Nerds in the Morning, where we're coming at you with a little breaking news podcast right here. It is Monday afternoon at about 12:15 Pacific time, and we've got two breaking news stories to report for you guys right now. First things first, Kyler Murray has officially declared that he will devote his life and his time to being an NFL quarterback and is saying goodbye to his contract with the Oakland A's. I'm Josh Golden. I'm here with
Jordan Goldman,
Dominic Stern,
Malad Gaimi.
So guys, what do you think about this decision by Kyler Murray, and how do you think it's going to impact the sports we love?
I don't really like it because I feel like if he wanted to pursue a career in football, he would have told the A's, like, hey, I'm going to play football. Because the Oakland A's basically just wasted their 9th overall pick.
Not basically wasted, they did waste.
Yes, they wasted their 9th overall pick. They're not even going to receive compensation. So, like, why? There's no reason that the A's should have to be dealing with this. And it's a shame for the MLB. Obviously, congrats to Kyler. We all know you're going to do great things at the next level. But I think it's kind of lame. And at the end of the day, the NFL always wins.
you're saying it's lame the way he handled it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wanted to see Kyler play baseball. I just thought it was going to be fun. But, I think it's kind of reminds me of when LeBron first went to Miami. He didn't really notify the Cleveland GM or anything. Everyone found out through an episode on SportsCenter, which was live. And I think since Kyler Murray did know this, I felt like he could have told Billy Beane, at least notified Oakland. But at the same time, Oakland knew that this was going to be a risk that they were taking with the number 9th pick.
I disagree with you, man. I think Kyler didn't really know the decision he was going to make until he officially came out with the decision and made the decision. I think Kyler realized this season through his incredible Heisman run that he really loves the game of football more than he'll ever love the game of baseball, as he saw through his incredible season at Oklahoma. And he decided, I love this game more than I love the game of baseball, and I want to spend the next 20 years of my life playing football as opposed to playing baseball. I mean, look, you can say, oh, he probably would have made more money playing baseball. He'd be more healthy playing baseball. Whatever, At the end of the day, the only thing he's worried about is what's going to make him happiest, because no matter what, he's going to have a great life with a ton of money. All right? That's decided either way he takes. He's just making this decision strictly based on what's going to make him happier, and football's clearly going to make him happier. So I think he made the right decision either way, and I respect it.
I agree and disagree with you, Josh. I said it last week. I think Kyler Murray would have been a better player and would have lasted longer in the MLB. Obviously, it's a lot harder to get to the major leagues than it is in the NFL. But I think he would have had a longer career, given his size and everything. But whatever he loves, in my opinion, it is what makes him happy, and that's where I agree with you, Josh. But in my opinion, again, I said it last week, that I think he would be better in baseball.
I don't disagree with that, but here's the thing that you're not thinking about. Who cares? He's going to be happier playing football. That's the end of the decision. Either way, he's going to make a ton of money. He's going to have a great life, and he'll be happier playing football. He should play football.
All I'm saying is, from a fan's perspective, I would have loved to see him in baseball, but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's where I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about, like, where he would have been better, or, like, if he would have
Exactly.
been
I
better.
don't think that matters at
Because,
all.
I mean, like, that doesn't really matter. It's about what he wants to do, and I understand that, like, he had a very tough choice to make, and there's a lot of money on the line, and he's totally screwing an MLB franchise that took a huge risk in drafting him, and didn't pay off.
And yes, and I agree with you, Dom. I think the way he handled it was not the right way. I think he should have let the A's know that he was undecided from the get-go. I think, he should have told them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really sign a number 9 overall pick unless you're really going to have him on your team. Now, if it was like the 20th round or something, you could just argue morally, but the A's don't really lose much in the 20th round,
Right.
But, it's a tough situation for the A's, and I think Kyler Murray, what was his thought process? Like, what changed in the past 4 or 5 months because he got drafted by the A's, and he still wanted to play football. He had some desire to play football, and now he's trying to decide whether he's going to switch over or not. And I think it's just a tough situation, and it's just a reason why those guys like Russell Wilson and so on and so forth don't get drafted so early in the MLB. It's for that reason, and maybe it wasn't smart on the A's to take that gamble.
Right. And you forgot to mention Johnny Manziel. Just
Yeah.
saying.
All right, so I think that's all we got to say about Kyler Murray. Obviously, he's going to head into the NFL draft this April and end up probably being a first-round pick and having hopefully a very long career in the NFL.
Go to Oakland, please. Come on.
Now, to another breaking news story from today. Kareem Hunt, former Kansas City Chiefs running back who was cut this season from a video that surfaced via TMZ showing him kicking a woman at a hotel in Cleveland, I believe it was correct?
Yeah.
Somewhere in Cleveland. And
That's
now, a few months later, he ends up signing in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns after that video surfaced and the Chiefs cut him. The Browns add a great piece to their backfield. Now they have Kareem Hunt to go with Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson. What do you guys think of the signing?
So, I'll take it from here as the Browns fan here, but, I think Kareem Hunt is obviously going to get suspended. I think we can all agree he's going to face some suspension. The question is how long. And, this is his first offense, and I don't want to justify anything that he did, but he's going to pay the price for what he did, and he's going to get suspended for it. His contract isn't big because of it. And I think whatever he gets suspended, let him pay his dues, and once he comes back to the football field, I think the Browns look really good. And depth is a real big thing here because usually you don't consider your team a team of depth when they have two, top 10 running backs, in my opinion. This upcoming season, I think both those running backs have a chance to be in the top 10 if they played the whole season. So,
Kareem Hunt's not going to play the whole season, but yes.
Yeah, but
that's why he said that, Josh.
Kareem Hunt was a big-time running back, so you get both those guys, that's depth already. And then you have Duke Johnson, who, when they had Carlos Hyde and Nick Chubb, he was lining up in wide receiver on the outside, kind of like Danny Woodhead would do. So you have a lot of depth there at running back. You still have a lot of cap space because this signing didn't cost you anything.
It's going to be very cheap.
You take a gamble. Maybe he only gives you half the season. And that could be where the playoff push comes in, where he just joins the team while they're in the playoff push.
Even if he's suspended for a whole year, you get him in 2020 when you can have Baker's third season and Chubb's third season and Kareem Hunt in his fourth year in the NFL, and things will look good for them.
And I like this addition for Cleveland just because Kareem Hunt, he grew up in the state of Ohio. He went to Toledo, so he's locally grown in the state of Cincinnati, or in the state of Ohio. Sorry. But it's a very low-risk, high-reward situation for Cleveland. So even if he does play at some point this year, he's a restricted free agent. So the Browns will get first dibs at him next year. So this is obviously a great signing. I just don't think it was very necessary because, like we've all said, they have a very good running back duo right now. Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs this past season, was graded the highest running back according to Pro Football Focus last season. And Duke Johnson, great third down running back, outstanding catching the ball out of the backfield.
One of the best in the game.
Kareem Hunt, obviously, he's better than both those two guys, but I just don't think this was a need that the Browns needed to fill.
It wasn't a need. It definitely wasn't a need. But you look at it, you can get a quality guy for cheap. It's a low-risk, high-reward signing.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised
Why
if
not?
they trade him, too. They could easily trade him. That's what they did with Josh Gordon. If he starts to continually have these problems again and they find out it's not just a second chance, that's what he needs, they can just trade him. His contract is worth nothing. They have the third most cap space in the NFL.
They could sign him. Nick Chubb, let's say he's suspended 8 games. Just throwing that out there. Nick Chubb has an incredible first 8 games of the season. They're like, screw it, we don't even need Kareem Hunt. Everyone knows Kareem Hunt's a great running back. Let's trade him out to whoever for a 3rd, 4th round pick.
Or who knows, maybe Duke Johnson does great, and then they bring Kareem Hunt back, and they see how all 3 of them do, and they say maybe we'll trade Duke Johnson. It opens something up for someone to get traded. That's what they did with Carlos Hyde last year. And I think they really have a good opportunity here because you still have the space to go get a really good defensive tackle. You still have the space to go get an all-pro type player. You still have that cap space to get a franchise guy. And, I just like the trend. Denzel Ward from Ohio State, and then now
Yeah.
they bring in Kareem Hunt, like you said, from Toledo, has roots in Ohio. I think it's a good opportunity for the Browns, and I think it builds character in this locker room. And he's not a great locker room guy
Correct.
based on his history with suspension, but he's a guy that's going to come in, and he's not going to. I don't think he's going to cause any problems with this team.
I don't know about that. Look, you can obviously look and say Kareem Hunt was a great signing for the Browns, and say he had the rushing title in 2017, and he's going to be great 2 years later. He's only 23 years old. He could be a great running back for the next 8-10 years. Who knows? Yes, but everyone's going to come out here and say, look, Kareem Hunt had this video. He's obviously a terrible guy who does terrible things. He doesn't deserve a second chance. Look, this is the NFL. A lot of these owners don't care what these guys are going to say if you can come up and get wins for this team.
Mm-hmm.
And he can come out and get wins for the Cleveland Browns. You knew he was going to get signed somewhere because everyone's going to want this guy because he's obviously a very talented running back. Yes, he has problems. He's going to get a suspension for that. Hopefully they'll clean up his act and he'll become a great player for the Browns. If not, they cut him. What's the big deal?
Exactly.
Right.
They did that with Josh Gordon.
I agree with you, Josh. I think every player deserves a second chance, no matter what it is. So that means that Kareem Hunt deserves a second chance, but the Browns, they have nothing to lose. And when I say nothing to lose, that's kind of strong. But, obviously, after 0-16 season, the year before, they, 7-8, correct me if I'm wrong.
7-8-1.
7-8-1.
7-7 in games. 7-7 in games with Baker Mayfield.
They are on the path to winning playoff games or going and entering and getting a berth to the playoffs.
With the money they have to spend in free agency, they can go crazy.
I think this is a great signing. I think this is a great chance for them to make it to the playoffs for cheap too. And like you were saying, Josh, it's for cheap. And if it doesn't work out, they cut him and they didn't really waste any money.
Mhm.
I just think it's a great signing.
And like we said on our last podcast, Malad talked about if he were John Dorsey, if he can make any move, he's going out to get Antonio Brown.
Mhm.
Now imagine if they go out and get Antonio Brown, what
Oh,
their
yeah.
team would look like.
Their team
That
would
is
be-
an explosive offense.
Throw back to when Jarvis Landry said we're going to have the best offense in the National Football League.
They could have
He
it.
wasn't far off.
Yeah.
He's not far off at all.
And if they get Antonio Brown, it might be up there.
Yeah, and I mean, just imagine how they got on Saquon Barkley. If that happened, I mean, you're talking about just a crazy
Unreal.
move. Because they still could have drafted Chubb in the second round, hypothetically speaking.
They
They
wouldn't
might
if
have
they
if they
had.
didn't sign Hyde. If they didn't sign Hyde, they still might have. Now, my thing is, they don't necessarily even need to spend that much money this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
If they feel like the free agent class next year or a possible trade or something, they see something where next year they can still go get more money. You have a guy like Tyrell Williams, who's a great sign, and he's not going to cost that much.
He's going to cost a fair penny.
He's not like Antonio Brown.
Not like Antonio Brown, but he's going to be more than $10 million a year for sure.
Yeah, you go get a guy like Tyrell Williams, or even in the draft. I mean, we were looking at it. They got multiple prospects who are Des Bryant type guys in the sense that they're red zone targets. You're going to throw it to them in the red zone, and they're tall enough to go get it. Then you have the defensive line. I don't know if the Browns do get Ndamukong Suh. I don't think it's very likely. But I do like other guys that they have there in that front line that they can plug in and play right away. So they have plenty of options, and that's the best situation for a football team is to have too many good options.
Exactly. The Browns, after a couple of years of some very, very poor football, are in one of the best situations in the league right now. They've got a great young quarterback, a ton of money to spend, and they can't go anywhere but up from where they are right now.
And that quarterback situation is so huge because you see a lot of those rookies have the sophomore slump that we always talk about. And your whole team is based on the quarterback. So if Baker Mayfield can come out here and build off of what he did in year one, you have a really good opportunity to not only go to the playoffs, but win in the playoffs and move deeper into the playoffs and contend.
It's crazy. We're talking about Cleveland winning in the playoffs.
After all these years.
Cleveland being in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
So
Who
I
knows?
mean, their drought has been one of the longest.
it's an exciting time for America's team.
Absolutely.
I mean,
All right.
and they got great draft picks in the first, third. I mean, they got all the draft picks that they could want. They can trade them if they want to. And, you have Baker, you have Kareem Hunt coming off a suspension, you have Nick Chubb already. So they're definitely going to run the football, and I think that's going to take pressure off of Baker, allow him to make the big throw.
Absolutely.